What's up, everybody? Back at it again with another fresh, updated cost of living video. Let's get it. So welcome back if this is your first time here. I cover anything and everything related to moving to or living in Fort Lauderdale and the surrounding areas. So if that's what you're looking for, make sure to subscribe down below. Also, in case you forgot, I am a licensed broker here in the state of Florida. So that number popping up you see below, I will be the guy to answer the calls, texts, and emails. Make sure to reach out to me if you have any real estate related questions or you're planning on relocating to Fort Lauderdale or anywhere in South Florida. I'd love to hear from you. So I did just make a cost of living video about 2 months ago, and frequently, these numbers really don't change that quickly. However, we're in weird times right now, so I wanted to make an updated video for you. We are in the height of our buying season here in Florida, and the calls and the texts are coming in like crazy, and I absolutely love it, so thank you. But a common question I'm getting from a lot of these people is, how much is it going to cost me to live down there in Florida? What's my daily cost going to be? What's the cost of living, basically, is what they're asking me. So I want to break down not only what payscale.com says, which is pretty much what I did last time, but I want to give you some real tangible numbers that I experienced and some of my clients have experienced. So across the board, not much has really changed. Fort Lauderdale sitting at about 23% higher than the national average, which when I last did this video is 24%, so not a big deal. The rest of these numbers are the same. However, a lot of the other stuff you'll find if you scroll down on this page is not too accurate. So I'm going to go a little bit more practical in this video, and we're going to start it off with pretty much everybody's primary concern when they're relocating, which is the cost of housing. So Fort Lauderdale's average housing cost is about 59% higher than the national average, which has not changed in the last 2 months. So the median home price over here in Fort Lauderdale is about $490,000, while the average home price is about $990,000. So what I can tell you from personal experience of, previewing homes every single day, if not weekly at least, is that a majority of the homes in Fort Lauderdale, and mind you, this is all types, this is single family condos and townhomes, but a majority of those homes are going to be above that $490,000 price range. But one good thing that we are seeing is we're starting to see more motivated sellers actually contributing to the buyer's closing costs, whether that's just paying for their closing costs or buying down their rate. So even though the interest rates are still high and the value of homes are still high, we are getting more help from the sellers, and that's a good thing. Now, when it comes to property taxes, our property taxes down here are about 1.2% of the purchase price or of the value of the home, which has gone up a little bit since I moved here. It was just over 1% in Broward County about 3-4 years ago. So it has gone up a little bit, and the people who are really feeling the effects of this are the natives, the people who have lived here and are just watching these prices skyrocket. If you compare it to where I was, born in New Jersey in Bergen County, the property tax percentage up there is 1.8%, and the value of homes is pretty much the same up there. So you can imagine what a difference that could be, even though it might not seem like a lot. It's all subjective. It's really just going to depend on where you're coming from. And one cool thing that you can do down here in Florida is if the home is your primary residence, you can claim it as your homestead, which basically reduces your taxable value by $50,000. So like I said, it must be your primary residence. Let's say the house is valued at $500,000 and you file for a homestead exemption. You're only going to pay taxes on $450,000. So that at least will help you save a little bit of money. As far as homeowners insurance goes, this has just been a crazy mess this last year, really. The average homeowners insurance in Broward County in the Fort Lauderdale area is a little bit over $4,000 a year. But that could range. I mean, it could be over 10,000, 15,000. It could be less. I had a client, well, it was about a year ago, and they got their homeowner's insurance for about $2,800 a year, which I was surprised about. But it's factored into your mortgage payment, so it's kind of all combined. It's not really like an extra payment that you have to worry about on top of anything. But we are seeing a lot of issues in the insurance world where companies are dropping clients. The demand has just gotten too crazy, so they're getting very strict on the homes that they insure. For example, I know that something they did recently was they're dropping a lot of clients, or they won't insure you if your roof is old. So I believe it's 15 years. I think it also has to do with the lifespan of the roof. I'm not too sure about that. I'm not the insurance professional, but shameless plug, I do have a guy. He's really good. I'm going to leave his info down here below. So for anybody who has any insurance questions related to moving to Florida, give him a call, let him know I sent you. Now, stepping away from home ownership, a lot of you guys that do reach out to me are looking to rent, which I usually recommend when you're relocating from out of state. You know, I recommend, especially if you know nothing about the area, I recommend you rent, not necessarily for a full year, but maybe 6 months. That's the one good thing about Florida, is we have an abundance of short-term rentals down here, or you can do an Airbnb. The average rent, I would say, for a one-bedroom, maybe about 600 square feet, is going to be in that $1,800-$1,900 range. And the average rent for probably a two-bedroom, right around 1,000 square feet, is going to be about $2,700, which I can attest to, because I recently moved out of a one-bedroom, which they raised my rent to $2,000 a month, and now I'm in a two-bedroom, and I'm paying about $2,800 a month. It is a great location, so you can get two bedrooms for, you know, $2,400 a month. It's just really all dependent on the location. But the one thing you have to be aware about when you're renting is the hidden costs. So obviously, let's say $2,800 a month is your rent payment. Then you got to remember things like pest control, trash. You know, those could be $30 to $50 a pop. So you could be talking an extra $100 right there. So that $2,800 just went up to $2,900, and that's not even factoring in your basic utilities. So as far as basic utilities go, Payscale.com has it at about 4% higher than the national average, which doesn't sound like a big deal. We use FPL, which is Florida Power and Light. I know there are some areas that have their own power companies, but I'm basing this off FPL. So from what I've seen, the average is about $130 to maybe $160 a month for to power your house. So when I first moved out here and I was in that one bedroom, it started off like $70, $80 a month to power the house. And then right as I left, it went literally from 1 month to the next. It went from about $80 to $130. And I have past clients that are paying well over $200 a month for electricity. So one tip that I can give you to reduce that a little bit is to not leave your lights on all day. I mean, this is going to depend on, you know, how your house is positioned and how much natural light you get, but we are in the Sunshine State, so you can keep your lights down for a majority of the day, especially in the summertime when we have those really long days, and you could help save a little bit there. Another thing you can do is just not run the AC all day, which I learned this the very hard way, and I'm going to tell you a little story. And I think this typically happens to a lot of people who move down here, especially from colder climates. So I was running my AC 24/7. I was in a one-bedroom apartment on the 3rd floor. It got hot up there, and I just wasn't so used to the heat yet. So typically you would keep it on auto, where it would run, then when it catches up to the temperature, it shuts off, and it just keeps doing that. But I was just hot, so I ran it 24/7. Well, I started noticing some gray stuff around my vents, and at first I just thought it was dust. Then I started noticing that I was coughing a lot and that the dust was growing. So when I really looked at it up close, it wasn't dust, it was mold. So long story short, had to get that taken care of. The maintenance guy came up. They sent the AC company. They had to clean out all the mold, repaint up there. And the first thing the guy asked me, the AC guy, is, "You're from the Northeast, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah." "Why?" He says, "Because all you guys do this. You all come down here and you all keep your ACs on for 24/7. He's like, "That's not good for the system. Keep it on auto and just deal with it." And you know what? I did it. It wasn't that bad. I survived. I eventually got used to the heat. But that's just a story of a hard lesson I learned. God only knows what I was breathing in for those 2 weeks before I really started to notice it. So just a quick story. Don't make that mistake. And also, just because it's hot down here, you don't need to keep your AC running at like 58 degrees. 70 to 72 is perfect. This is just all things that I've experienced that have helped keep my power bill a little bit lower than a lot of people's. So kind of piggybacking off utilities, we have internet, and we'll include cell phone in there. Really don't notice a huge difference. I think this is pretty standard across the board. Internet's gonna run you about $50 to $100, maybe a little bit more per month, depending on what speed you want. I had it at one point as low as $45 a month through Xfinity, but it was just way too slow, and I do a lot of work from home, so I'm paying about $100 a month, roughly the same as what it was in Jersey. And our companies out here are Xfinity and AT&T, at least in my area. And then cell phone, same thing, pretty standard across the board. Payscale.com had it at like $195 a month. I don't know if that's for a family plan, but I've been with Verizon pretty much my whole life. My bill's about $100 a month for unlimited everything, and that started in Jersey, and it's still the same out here. So like I mentioned, I don't think there's really a difference state to state between stuff like that. Okay, so let's move on to travel and transportation. So our transportation out here, or the way to get around, we only really have 4 highways in the Fort Lauderdale area, and only 2 of them are free. So if you live closer to the east, you have I-95, which runs north and south. And then down by the airport, you have 595, which runs out into the suburbs and almost out to the Everglades. But if you live in the suburbs, you really have quick access to the Turnpike and the Sawgrass Expressway, which are both toll roads. Now the tolls are going to vary. They also have the express lanes on 95. That's going to vary also by the time of day and the location. And as far as the train goes, the Bright Line, nothing's changed. If you want the monthly pass from between Miami and West Palm Beach, it's going to cost you about $339 a month. But I'm making an assumption that a lot of you coming down here are going to be driving. So let's talk about gas. The average gas price in Florida right now is about $3.47. Last time I did this video, I believe it was about $3.34. And in between then, I've seen it go as low as like $2.90, $2.80. So it's been up and down. I pay about $4 because I put in premium. I think the last I checked, it really depends on the station, but one station was like $3.97 for premium, and then the other one was like $4.12. So you can expect to pay somewhere in that range for premium as of right now, assuming nothing changes, and about $3.41 for regular. You're also going to have to register that car, and if you're coming out of state, the first time you register that car and have to transfer the title and get new plates, it's going to be kind of expensive, a couple $100 at least. I made the mistake of going to one of the third-party auto tags places just because I didn't know any better when I should have went to the DMV. I wound up spending between $500 and $600 to transfer everything over here and get a new registration. I also got vanity plates, so that didn't help. But as far as registration goes, it's about $78 a year. They also have a 2-year option. Not quite sure of the price of that. If I could figure it out, I'll put it up on the screen. But I just always go for the 1-year option. I don't know why, but it's about $78. When I was in Jersey 4 years ago, it was $47. So it's just under double the price. You also have to insure the car. So lucky us, Florida has the most expensive car insurance in the country, about 56% higher than the national average. And in the Broward County, Fort Lauderdale area, it's about $2,300 a year. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you're probably gonna know what I'm about to say and why the cause of the high insurance is. It's because our drivers suck down here. There's a ton of accidents down here. It's just a higher risk. Regardless, car insurance is expensive down here. So going into some of the miscellaneous stuff, our sales tax is 7%. It's 6% in Florida, and then Broward County adds 1% on top of that. So I'm pretty sure that's similar to a lot of places, right around that 6-7% range. Like I mentioned in another video, in Jersey, we didn't have to pay sales tax on certain things like clothes and shoes, which was nice because if you spend $200 on clothes, it costs you $200 even versus $214, which, it's $14, but the more you spend, the more it adds up, and it was still nice to have. But we have no state income tax down here, so that's something that draws a lot of people down here. However, the flip side to that is our salaries are much lower down here. So I like to recommend people to do your research on jobs before you move down here. If you absolutely don't have to, don't come down here without a job and just try to figure it out, because I've seen too many people try it and it just doesn't really seem to work out in their favor, at least in my experience. Use that payscale.com calculator and go and plug in your city that you're living in right now and the salary you're currently making, and then go to Fort Lauderdale, and it's going to show you the salary you need to make down here in order to maintain the same lifestyle that you're living wherever you're at right now. Please do your research on jobs before you move down here. Try to have something lined up. I know life's not perfect and things happen. If you can't, then you can't, but try to do it. Now, they did list food as being 19% higher than the national average, and honestly, I don't really notice a huge difference from when I was living in Jersey versus now. Maybe there are some things that are more expensive. One thing Florida is known for is we do have a lot of healthy grocery stores out here, like your Whole Foods, the Fresh Market, Publix, Greenwise, Living Green. Stuff like that will tend to be very expensive, but as far as your standard grocery shopping, Publix is hit or miss. They have some things that are higher priced, some things that are lower priced. We also have Walmart Neighborhood Market, which is just a Walmart grocery store only, and then we have Aldi's, which I found pretty good deals there as well. So I like to eat a lot of chicken, for example, so I won't go to Publix for my chicken because it's usually around like $6-7 a pound. And then if you want the organic stuff, it's like $8 or $9 a pound. So you can find good chicken at Aldi's for about $3 a pound. I wouldn't buy chicken at Walmart. That's just my personal opinion. But everything else there is good. So I try to eat healthy about 80% of the time. And just for context, grocery bill for just me is about $250 a month, give or take. And that's including dog food because I do have a dog, and he's big, so he eats a lot. So that's including dog food. So that's obviously gonna depend on how you eat, where you shop, and the size of your family. So if you live in Florida already, what do you think of these numbers? Did I get anything wrong? Is there anything I missed? Let me know in the comments below. And just a quick reminder, that number that's popping up again, that's how you can get a hold of me. So call or text me at any time. I love connecting with you guys and helping you on your journey to move to Fort Lauderdale or South Florida. So in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you soon.